What's going on, guys? It's your boy Ty, and today in this video I just want to discuss some of my favorite acting performances of all time. Don't get me wrong, this is probably a huge list just in general. I mean, I could probably rattle off like 50 performances that I love, so I'll probably end up making more of these videos going over more performances that I love, but I'm just going to talk about a few today. I don't even want to waste any time. Let's just get right into the first performance that I really want to talk about. One movie that I feel like gets talked about a lot because of its acting, and especially one performance in it, is easily The Dark Knight. But I'm actually not going to be talking about the actor that you think I'm going to be talking about today. Of course, everyone loves Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker, but that, as great as it is, isn't necessarily one of my favorite performances. I think it's one of the best ever, but favorite-wise, I've got to say, Gary Oldman's performance as Commissioner Gordon really stands out to me. I just love the way he's able to capture this like nervous, anxious energy, you could say, because, I mean, if you're the police commissioner, you have like a lot of control over like the city, obviously, but it feels like with more and more of the Joker's antics going on, his plan kind of rolling out, he's slowly losing grip of the city as a whole. And I mean, especially the fact that it starts to become more personal with Harvey Dent and how his family becomes involved. They actually get in danger. It's absolutely amazing the way that Gary Oldman's able to portray this sense of dread almost that Commissioner Gordon's going through. I love the way he looks with his glasses, the way he has this kind of sympathetic face where you really feel for him. You don't want him to be going through this. You know that he has good intentions, even if he has to do some crazy stuff to kind of, bring across his message or do what he has to do, whether it's to save his family, like I said, or just help out Batman. But yeah, overall, this is a amazing performance by Gary Oldman. I mean, between this and him being Sirius Black in the Harry Potter films, which I actually just rewatched a couple of them the other day, he's so great in those as well. But yeah, Gary Oldman slowly but surely becoming one of my favorite actors, and yeah, he absolutely killed it in this movie, especially with the monologue to finish out this film. Oh my god, it's phenomenal, and it gives me chills every time. The second performance that I'm talking about today is by an absolute A-lister, but in a movie that I still feel is underrated, even though it won Best Picture, which I know is kind of crazy to say, but I just feel like it doesn't get enough love, and I think is this actor's best performance. That being Leonardo DiCaprio's performance in The Departed. Bill Costigan, the character in this movie, is kind of a guy where like he's trying to find his place in the world. He's kind of having a tough time in general, and his way of getting out of this is through the police force. But he kind of has like a sketchy background, I guess you could say, whether his uncle was like in the mob, his dad was kind of a deadbeat, whatever. And for that reason, the police force doesn't necessarily trust him, but they'd rather send him into the Boston mob to be like an undercover cop. It's an amazing, phenomenal story, but the way that Leo is able to portray this character is just unbelievable, because obviously when you're undercover in the mob, you're gonna have to be doing a lot of brutal things, and the way that he's able to show the mental toll that it takes on his character, whether it's shooting people, beating people up, getting beaten up, all this stuff, it's just insane. I mean, he's really going through it, and of course he's definitely getting assisted by his co-stars, whether that's Matt Damon, Mark Wahlberg, which is pretty funny to say, but I like Mark Wahlberg. I think he's pretty funny. Jack Nicholson, all these characters. It's just amazing the way that he performs in this film. I'm telling you, if I had to recommend one film on this list, it would be The Departed. You need to watch it. I just rewatched it again for the other day. God, it's definitely one of my favorite films of all time, and I love Leo's performance in this. He absolutely kills it. The next performance that I'm going to be talking about here, unfortunately, the actor has since passed away, that being Alan Rickman, rest in peace. I absolutely love his portrayal of Snape. When it comes to the Harry Potter franchise as a whole, obviously everyone knows there is a ton of star power, and everyone is on their A game when it comes to the acting, whether it's Daniel Radcliffe portraying Harry Potter, we've got Hermione, we've got Ron, we've got Ralph Fiennes, playing Voldemort. It's just amazing acting. Everyone's clicking and there's chemistry. But my favorite performance here, like I said, is Snape. It's kind of funny because Alan Rickman, in a way, almost brings what I could only describe as like this sassy energy to Snape, where he's kind of just like always, waving his head, and he's almost like on a pedestal. He doesn't care what anybody else thinks. He does what he has to do. And in a way, everyone's always scared of him, but I love the way that his face, it almost feels like Alan Rickman never actually moves his face, and he's just acting with his lips. The voice that he does for Snape is absolutely awesome. It's almost like this intimidating whisper that can get louder when it needs to be, especially if, we're in a more serious scene. And also, especially as we get into the later movies where we're really diving a little bit deeper into Snape's background, when we have the flashback scene with Lily Potter and he's holding her there crying and just absolutely devastated. It's just such an incredible display of acting. I've probably said display and portray 50 times in this video, but I don't care because this performance deserves a lot of respect. I don't really know what it is about this performance that clicks with me so well. I think I just really like Alan Rickman, and I don't know, it just seems like he really cared about this performance. It seems like he was literally being Snape. Like, that's who he was, even off camera. It's amazing, especially his chemistry with the other characters. Absolutely love it. Rest in peace, my man. Fine. If you're gonna force me to talk about my favorite movie of all time, I will. I'll talk about Goodfellas. Goodfellas has obviously, like Harry Potter, a bunch of star power in different ways. I'm not acting like Harry Potter is the same as Goodfellas, but we've got Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, and the man that I want to talk about today, Ray Liotta. I love Ray Liotta as Henry Hill. The way his confidence is on display during this film is just so beautiful. I love how over the course of this film, you really see how he's kind of starting to question his morals and how as he has to start making more and more decisions, as he's moving up the ranks within, the Italian kind of mob, mafia, whatever you want to call it, it starts to take a toll on him in a way. And obviously things really start to spiral out of control and go downhill. And especially in that last, I want to say 45 minutes or so, once we get into the whole cocaine addiction and all that other stuff, he starts to get paranoid. It's unbelievable the way you could see in his eyes how he's just, freaking out. Ray Liotta just does such a great job at really showing everyone what this guy was going through and just embodying him. It's really impressive. One thing I really do like too is I think that the way he delivers dialogue is a little bit underrated. Like, it kind of just seems very relaxed, like laid back and kind of natural, like he's just talking to his friends, like we're just literally a fly in the wall watching real conversations happen as if it's not even a movie and like we're going to the real events of Goodfellas. It's just really impressive to me. I love the laugh that he has when Joe Pesci's, oh, you think I'm a funny guy? That scene, the improv's awesome. And yeah, I don't know. I think the look he has is right for the role, and obviously that doesn't necessarily have to do with the acting, but it does help sell his performance. And yeah, I've got to say, very underrated, especially when you're with some of the Mount Rushmore actors like Pesci and De Niro. It's really amazing to me, and yeah, I've got to say, I just love it. The next acting performance that I want to talk about here is pretty much a performance where it's an incredible performance in a really bad set of movies, that being Adam Driver as Kylo Ren. Just in general, at least to me personally, I feel like Adam Driver just seems like a really cool, likable guy, and I really do enjoy the few movies that I've seen him in. But with that being said, when you put him into this menacing role as essentially a Darth Vader clone, I just absolutely ate it up and I loved it. See, when it comes to Kylo Ren, he's a character where he has a lot of pain and he's suffering because he really badly just wants to become the next Darth Vader, if not more powerful. And Adam Driver is able to just absolutely sell the hell out of this desperation for him trying to achieve his goals. I mean, the way that he almost seems like emotionless in certain scenes where he kills Han Solo, when it's pretty surprising, especially in that moment, and his face is so emotionless, like I said, that you don't expect it. He has no remorse for his actions. But also, as things go down the line, we get into The Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker. Like I said, not great movies, but you see he starts to become very influential. His rage is awesome. The scene where, he's screaming like, more in The Last Jedi when they're shooting at Luke. Oh my God, I love it. I think he has the perfect look. He looks so awesome with the scars and stuff. Just an awesome performance, in my opinion. I really like his voice, and especially that he's a taller guy. I feel like he's able to be more intimidating and reflect his personality with his physique, almost like he has chemistry with his own body in a way. Really awesome. And yeah, the choreography, he just has this confidence. And I'd almost argue, even though, like I said, he's very emotionless, he still does kind of have like this swagger with his threatening nature that really makes him a really cool villain. And I've got to say, Adam Driver just killed it with this role, like I said. All right, I'm kind of sick of talking about these like serious performances. One of my favorite performances of all time, if not my favorite in a comedy film, has to be Jim Carrey in Dumb and Dumber. I mean, I know it's been said a million times over and over, Jim Carrey is one of one in the comedy scene. Would his comedy work in 2023? No. People would probably call it cringe. But looking back at it, I think it's absolutely phenomenal. He does two things amazingly. Wait, is amazingly even a word? I'll just say incredibly. He does two things incredibly well. First of all, body humor. He's, stretching at his mouth. He's acting all crazy, wacky, whatever. And two, line delivery. You want to talk about someone that can turn a decent joke into one that'll have you rolling on the floor? That's Jim Carrey. I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like half of the part of just him being funny in this movie is the way he looks as Lloyd Christmas, I believe is his name, with that bowl cut. I mean, that's already funny as it is, but it just helps to sell his character because he's obviously, like the movie suggests, dumb. And it's so funny how he's able to interact with also, I'm blanking on his name, Harry in this film. I feel like a lot of the stuff in this movie as well was pretty much just done by him, which makes it even more impressive and why I love the performance even more. It doesn't feel like he was reading a script and was like, okay, I'm gonna quote that exactly. He puts his own spin on everything, his own touch. I'm sure there's a ton of improv in this movie as well, and it would probably be hard to pick out what's improv versus what's from a script because he just loves to go off the rails, and he's truly a generational actor when it comes to what he does in his role. So yeah, guys, that's gonna just about do it for today. I know that this was a list of only 4 or 5 performances, but I wanted to just go a little bit more in depth into each performance and kind of talk about why I love them so much, rather than just rapid fire you a bunch of performances and just saying one line about them. I'm definitely gonna be making more videos in the future about talking about more performances, but I mean, you guys know my content. It's just anything about movies. If you have any video ideas you want to hear, because the movie scene just generally is kind of dead right now, nothing crazy is coming out, definitely comment it down below and I might end up making your movie idea a reality. So yeah, that's a thing. Comment down below your favorite movie performances of all time. Doesn't have to be performances or whatever. It could literally be anything. You guys know me at this point, and I will definitely reply to your comment. So with that being said, this is a super long outro for no reason. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video.